Let me switch gears to ask you about China, because the markets reacted to China tightening the export control of rare earth minerals. And then President Trump responded with a new threat of a much higher tariff of 100%. What is the plan to take on communist China?
Well, I talked to the president about this yesterday and this morning, Maria. Look, he actually appreciates the friendship that he's developed with Xi. They have a good relationship, but I think all of us were really shocked by this action from the communist Chinese government. They basically, not just with the United States, but with the entire world, threatened to completely cut off trade for critical resources, critical minerals, things that all of us rely on. And what the United States has is we have a lot of leverage, Maria. And my hope, and I know the president's hope, is that we don't have to use that leverage. We actually want to rebuild more of our own industrial base, but we also think that we can have a positive relationship with the People's Republic of China, but not if the Chinese go down this pathway of cutting off the entire world from access to some of the goods that they produce. And Maria, this really highlights why the president, it was so important that he declared a national emergency and implemented these tariffs in the first place. The fact that the People's Republic of China, the fact that they have so much control over critical supply in the United States of America, that is the definition of a national emergency. The president has taken very decisive action to correct that problem over the last 8 months. But unless we have access to this tariff authority, it's going to be very hard to negotiate with China, and it's going to be very hard for us to reshore some of these critical supplies and goods that we absolutely need for our own economy. Why have we gotten in this position to begin with? And the answer is because a generation of bipartisan leadership allowed the critical things that we need to get offshored. These rare earth minerals, the magnets, our computer chips were actually invented. Silicon chips were invented in the United States of America. Now Taiwan, just off the coast of China, makes nearly 100% of the computer chips in the world economy. We were put in this position by failed leadership. It is a national emergency, and the president is doing everything that he can to get us out of this mess. It's not going to happen in 8 months. It's going to happen in some cases through negotiation, in some cases through bringing some of this critical supply back to the United States of America. But the president is committing to protecting America's economic livelihoods, but also making us more self-sufficient. And we've got to do both of those things at the same time. I'll be honest with you, Maria, it's going to be a delicate dance. And a lot of it is going to depend on how the Chinese respond. If they respond in a highly aggressive manner, I guarantee you the President of the United States has far more cards than the People's Republic of China. If, however, they're willing to be reasonable, then Donald Trump is always willing to be a reasonable negotiator. We're going to find out a lot in the weeks to come about whether China wants to start a trade war with us or whether they actually want to be reasonable. I hope they choose the path of reason. The President of the United States is going to defend America regardless.